Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Mansfield Buzz.
Welcome to Mansfield Buzz, Jordan Hurdy in the mix, spotlighting local stories, every episode's a fix, unearthing unique gems, what makes them shine. Tune in, get ready, we're diving into their grind. With Jordan's questions, we reveal what's at the core. Hurdy's tech wizardry, bringing stories to the fore. Together we create, star showcasing what's unique. Mansfield Buzz, where content creation sleek. Calling all business owners and customers to the scene. Discover authentic gems, find the best you've ever seen. Meet the faces behind each unique space. Trust in the stories, find community in this place.
All right, everybody, welcome to Mansfield Buzz. It is Thursday. It's 2 p.m., and Jordan and myself are on every Thursday along with guests from the local Mansfield surrounding area. You know, today we happen to have Terry from Dreammaker Vacations. He is going to tell us about adventure tours. We'll be with him in a few minutes. But hey, if you want to know who we are Hurdy Burke and Jordan Huff. Yes, Huff spelled Hough. Okay, so everybody's Jordan, me and you, Hurdy, and then Huff, right? Both
Yep.
of us have about the same problem.
Yep. Nobody can ever get it right.
Well, they either spelled Hurdy or they spell Huff Huff, not Hough. So it's the same problem for both of us, okay? But there's our names, so there's who we really are right there. And guys, if you don't mind, if you're listening today, feel free to comment with us. We'll answer and post those comments and answer as many questions because we are going to be talking about adventure tours today, adventure travel, which is going to be really kind of fun because I'm interested in hearing some of the stories from Terry today. And I'm sure he's got some good ones. But, check us out at Mansfield TX Buzz. And you can just type in that handle or the long URL, go over and hit the subscribe button. But today, if you're listening in, right underneath the video on YouTube, there's a thumb. It's pointed like this. Click that one that says thumbs up. That lets you know you like the content, and it helps with the algorithm on the live stream. And if you want to be a guest on the show, oh, Jordan, you're not going to believe this. We just booked almost all of November. We've got 2 dates left in November. I threw those out as an offer day. I'm waiting for a response. We may have everything booked now through November, and we're going to be working on December here soon.
Hey,
So,
holiday peeps.
no Thanksgiving or Christmas Day stuff, right? And I'm putting together a special Halloween show right now. I'm going to start marketing next week. Remember, Jordan will have like 6 people want to dress up in costumes and be on us just for fun, which is really kind of cool. And then we tell horror stories and play horror music and all that stuff. So, Terry's going, okay, whatever. So anyhow, you can email me hurdy@hurdyburke.com and just put in the subject line, yes, I'd like to be on November, December. And I'll tell you, December would be a great month if you got a widget product or something that you're really kind of offering around the Christmas holiday time, even Thanksgiving, if you know truth. This would be a great time to put it out there and give people a little something to take care of during the end of the year, which is awesome. So, all right. So, Jordan, Terry, welcome. Dreammaker Vacations, and we're going to talk about adventure tours today, which I'm excited about. But Jordan, I think we have an icebreaker, which is really cool.
This is cool. All right, so let's get you going. So tell me a little bit about diving.
Yeah, so Patty and I with Dreammaker have been involved with diving since 2007. We actually took our certification courses in 2007. We both became certified, and then I continued on. I had a passion for underwater activities, so I continued on, and I became a dive master. So I took my rescue course, my open water, my rescue, some technical training, and then logged 65 dives to get my dive master certification. So I'm one step away from being an instructor.
That's awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And does a dive master, is there qualifications for dive master for depth, or is it to a certain level, or is it for just a certain kind of tank or certain kind of air mixture? I guess what I'm asking is, How does dive, what does it limit you in any way, or does it give you a free pass?
So no, so being a dive master actually takes you, it's recreational diving.
Okay,
Anything
gotcha. All right.
that's 120 feet or less is recreational. Anything more than 130 feet is technical diving.
Yeah, that's
Um,
when you get into you got to take your time, be careful, all that fun
yeah,
stuff,
yeah,
right?
you're using nitrox mixes for
Yeah.
breathing air. You're doing a lot of different things. But yeah, so as a dive master, I can actually lead groups of 2 on diving adventures. Anything more than a group of 2, you actually have to be a master diver, which
Got
is
you.
a full instructor.
Got you.
So yeah, so I can do the discover scuba diving. So if you've ever been at a resort or on a vacation where they take you into the pool and they give you the
Yeah.
scuba diving, that's
Yeah.
exactly what I can teach right now.
That's awesome. That's good.
Yeah,
It's
That's
good to know
really-
you have somebody who knows what they're doing. You get
yeah.
deep. Oh, cool.
That's
All right,
really
Jordan.
cool.
I just
And,
had to ask. I just didn't know
the-
what the qualifications were for it.
Yeah, and something that I like to talk to people that I've never done it, but one of the things that I've been told, and I'd love to hear your point of view on it, is if you've been kind of the adventurous type, which is what we're talking about today. There's people that skydive and scuba dive, but they say that scuba diving is actually the closest you can feel to flying.
It is because you're weightless is once you take your course and you get more experience, you basically hover in the water. So you feel weightless. I mean, it is almost like flying because you are in control of your own destiny. If you go higher, if you go lower, and it's really interesting because when you come completely buoyant, which means you can just hover in the water, you can actually flip upside down. And at times, especially if you're cave diving, you can actually lose which way is up.
Oh,
So
wow. No.
that's a bit of a challenge because you're completely weightless in the water, right?
All the bubbles.
So, yeah.
Put
so-
your hand over your head. Yeah.
Yep. And the easiest way to tell is which way the bubbles are going.
That's right. Amen.
Okay. That's so interesting. So at some point, the bubbles, like to you, it would seem like the bubbles are
There-
flowing the
there's-
wrong way.
And,
Where are they
and Terry,
going
some-
down? Like,
Yeah.
some people,
If,
yes.
if you're looking and the bubbles are going away from your eyes, that is you're upside down. You're on your back and you're looking upwards. So
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Same thing happens on airplanes, by the way.
when you're falling.
When you can't see, when you can't see anything around you, you have to rely on instruments and never mind. No big
Yeah,
deal.
I thought
Bubble.
you were
Follow
talking
the
about,
bubbles. Follow the bubbles. Follow the bubbles.
They were talking about free falling. It's like that's
And don't panic.
yeah.
You can't
So-
tell left. What my point was is that when you're in and you're flying without, like, you can't see anything around you, it's deceitful which way you're turning, right? You don't have a feel for it. You have to know, you have to look at instruments. Well, bubbles underwater is really cool.
I don't
But
know. If you're
people
missing your
panic.
left, if you're missing your left from your right, I think that's more of a personal problem.
Well, I'm telling you, that's all. Never mind. I'll edit this out. All right, good. We get to Jordan. I'm gonna let you have it. We're gonna talk about adventure vacations today.
Yes. So in the pre-show, we're talking a little bit, which is a perfect way to segue into this. Adventure vacations. As I say this, everybody's going to have a different definition of what that is. So let's ask the expert, like, what is adventure vacations?
Well, I mean, for everybody, it's a little different. But when you think about adventure, some folks, you can have adventure by land, by sea, by air, as adventurous as you want to be. So, if you think about by sea, for example, we have cruising, which I know Patty has talked about cruising in other sessions before. So part of adventure cruising is going to the Galapagos Islands, cruising to Antarctica, cruising to the Arctic. There's a Transarctic or a cruise where you can go from Greenland across the northern Arctic to Alaska on a cruise ship, and it's actually an icebreaker. So that's adventure. We've got lots of different vendors that offer a lot of different experiences. So, and some of the better adventurous ideas. I know with Antarctica, there's some of the vendors that it's very protected area. So with all the wildlife, and they do not want to contaminate everything. So there's a lot of the vendors we use, which when you go off of the ship, you have to use specific boots that they provide for you. Once you get onto shore, there's actually a decontamination area they set up. So you walk through a decontamination to decontaminate your boots. And then you can walk onto Antarctica. And the point I was getting to there is some of the cruise lines that tell you Antarctic adventures. Some of them you see from the ship. Some of them you can actually get onto Antarctica. Wow. And they actually buy more permits. They have different permitting, and there's only so many permits available. Mm-hmm. And they have to prove to the environmental folks that they are going to preserve the environment. So part of it is that decontamination, specific boots, interaction with the wildlife. You can take pictures with them, but you never touch the wildlife. You never get close. Right. If they come close to you, that's fine, but you don't pick them up. You don't move them. You don't touch them. But yeah, I mean, adventurous, you can be as adventurous as you'd like. There's the Galapagos Islands, which a lot of people have heard about. The Maldives, even French Polynesia. There's some vendors that do a great job of cruising around the Polynesian Islands, and you can snorkel and scuba dive around the Polynesian Islands. The adventure is really up to you. And when we continue into the water, I'm just going to add a couple more things. I mean, if you're really adventurous, there's vendors that we have that you can do some cage diving with the great white sharks. Regular scuba diving. We've been on a lot of different dives. In order to get my dive masters, I've had to log 65 dives, and we've done a bunch since. But there's great islands. There's the island of Bonaire, which has a reef which is like 30, 40 feet off the shore. So you can literally walk and you can dive all day. There's a dive shop there that has a program where you can come in and take dive tanks, empty a tank, grab one, go back out. Because it's shallow, you don't have to decompress when you come up, which that whole decompression is about your body builds up nitrogen. And you want to release that nitrogen. So the deeper you dive, the more nitrogen your body stores. So you have to do a bunch of safety stops when you come up.
Right.
And in Bonaire, because it's shallow and the reef is so close, you don't have to do those safety stops. You can literally, it's like snorkeling with a tank on your back, but you don't have to come up to the surface until you're low on air. And then you come back and grab another tank.
And go right back down.
That's awesome.
Absolutely.
So, let's dive into this, right? Because we have to you mentioned some different categories, and I think that's going to help us take or veers down the rabbit hole as far as like the different things. So we're talking about adventures by sea, and I think this is probably going to be one of the broadest categories because there's so much you can do. But you've touched up on, like going to the extreme ends of the earth, like literally to the frozen poles. You can go over there and explore that. You can go under the water for adventure. Like, what are some of the other adventures you could do by sea or by water?
So, I mean, there's boating. You can there's a lot of areas where you can rent. You can rent boats. You can rent ocean boats. We just came back from Branson, Missouri. And there's a landing at Branson, Missouri, where if you're into the boating on the lake, you can actually rent a boat for $150 an hour. It's a pontoon boat. So you, your family, your kids take the boat out for a few hours. You can hop off the back of the boat, go swimming in the lake, back on the boat. It's a great small adventure, but it's an adventure. I mean, especially if you have kids, getting into the lake off the boat and then right back onto the boat is a great adventure.
Yeah, hang around, have snacks, enjoy the day.
Yep. Exactly. Yeah,
and in lake.
Yeah, in Mexico, we've actually swam with the whale sharks. So about 25 miles off the shore, when the whale sharks are migrating north to south, the pods are out there. So usually between June and August are when the pods of whale sharks are out. So you hop on a boat, they take you out to where the whale sharks are. And again, it's a protected area, so you're only allowed so many people off the boat at a time. But we had the opportunity of swimming with the whale sharks. I've got some incredible video. I mean, and you feel so small when you get in with the whale sharks. They're 40 and 50 feet long.
Wow.
So
So-
they don't. So they don't put a hook on you, is what you're saying. Okay.
No,
All right.
no, they're
Okay.
actually
All right.
eat plankton. They have no teeth. I've got video
Yeah.
of inside
They're
their mouth.
they're pretty docile, they say.
They are, and they're incredible to swim with.
Wow.
Just
That's awesome.
yeah, it makes you realize how vast the world is, how vast things are under the water when you swim beside a whale shark and he passes you going pretty quick and you're nose to tip on the whale shark. And I mean, you just fill a very small portion of his tail.
That's
I
wild.
feel this big.
For our viewers, they might not be able to visualize what 40 or 50 feet is. Like, what is that comparable to something we're familiar with?
A semi-trailer going down the road. So it's semi-truck and trailer. That trailer is generally 53-foot trailer is a common trailer for cargo.
That's big.
So
That's a big
There's an animal
fish.
that big just swimming past you.
That's
Yeah,
a big
just-
fish that has swim past you.
yeah, and they swim. When I was in the water, you're using your fins, you're trying to move really quick.
They go
And
fast.
yeah, they just glide by you with no effort on their part. So it's incredible.
I
It
would
is.
freak out.
Yeah.
So you can yeah. Oh, I think I want to do that. That sounds really cool. So you can go in, you can scuba dive and interact with the wildlife, which that's cool. And
Yeah.
so you can go to, like, from what it sounds like, a whale shark is a very safe animal to be around.
Very.
And on the other end, you could be around some not so safe animals, right? You mentioned like
You-
straight up sharks.
Yeah, you can be, but for most of the sharks and the great whites are a little bit different. But in the shores off of Mexico, like Cancun, Mexico, we've dove a lot off of the shores of Mexico, and we've come across blacktip sharks. We've come across nurse sharks, and it's very much like any wildlife you come across. They're just as afraid of you as you are of them. As long as you don't antagonize them, and as long as you don't get into a space where they feel threatened,
Right.
they'll swim by you. Some of the amazing water or animals in the water, I guess they're not animals, but is the eels. Like, you can see the moray eels, the green eels, a lot of the eels that you see. They're actually very interactive. They'll swim. A lot of divers will swim around, and the eels will come and play with you. So if you don't antagonize them, they won't attack you, but they'll become comfortable with you, and they'll actually swim around you. They're very playful. The eels are very playful.
I've had a small experience like that, not scuba diving because I'm not certified, but we were snorkeling off of the coast of Huatulco in Mexico. And it's got a lot of marine life. It's crazy. Like, you look under the water, and at first it's kind of creepy because they're like, stuff's moving everywhere. And you're like, I'm not used to like stuff moving and sliming and just doing all that. And you think, when you see coral reefs, well, I mean, when you see the stuff that washes up as white, but when you look down there, I mean, it's colorful. So first of all, it kind of freaked me out because I'm like, what is this? But then there's a really high salt concentration there, so you float really easily.
Yeah.
And there was just fish swimming in and out. I'm like, they're huge. Like you think of fish like the stuff you see around here, and these things are like, I mean, it's just like giant. Like, it was like it reminded me of the fish from the Finding Nemo Dory.
Yeah,
but it was like huge. I mean, it's bigger than me, and I'm like, there's a ton of them going around. I'm like, this is crazy, and they're all kind of going around me. And the moment they figured I wasn't going to eat them, they're like, yeah, screw it. It's just all swimming around. I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah, there's some big grouper out there that are very, very large.
Yeah.
And there is some that are they seem very nice. There's the lionfish.
Mhm.
So right now, the problem in the Caribbean is the lionfish are an invasive species. They were released by somebody. So they're an Asian fish. They come from around the Philippines area. But somewhere along the way, they got released into the waters around Mexico. You can find them around Florida now. And they have no predators because the lionfish, the spines that come off of them have a venom in them. So they have no current predators. So they're very pretty to look at underwater.
Mhm.
The issue is, and what's happening around the waters of Mexico, like Cancun, Puerto Vallarta, Nuevo Vallarta, is they're actually allowing the divers and the guys fishing, you can actually spearfish the lionfish. And when you bring them in, there's actually restaurants that will cook them for you.
Oh,
So once they're dead and they manage the spines on them so they don't release the toxins or the venom, they're actually very tasty. They're very tasty.
Wow.
So we're becoming their natural predators.
Yes. Yeah.
So-
and that's the only thing that's really reducing their population. So
is this a hunting for good adventure trip?
Yeah.
it is. It is.
So did I hear you really say that there is a adventure tour from Greenland to Alaska?
There is. Yeah. There's.
I mean, is that solid ice trip? Is there certain times of year it's not, or is that a icebreaker all the way?
Well, there's potentially ice breaking most of the way. So they do go through
Yeah.
like the late spring, summer, and early fall.
Right.
The ships are equipped with an ice breaking hull though, because they always come
Wow.
across a little bit of ice. So
Yeah.
it may not be thick. Some years it may be very thick. Other years might be nothing. But
Yeah.
there is cruise lines. There's smaller ships. They're very tailored ships to
Right.
the adventure folks. And yeah, you can sail from Greenland across to Alaska.
So Jordan, one thing we didn't ask you about these adventures by sea, and the other ones we're going to get into, is how do you guys help people, since you are travel agent, right? For folks, how would they go about signing up? Just call you guys and y'all help them through the steps to figure out what they want to do, what they're interested in, and get them into the right kind of plan.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, anybody that reaches out to us, one of the things that we do is we qualify the clients for what they're looking for.
Right.
A lot of folks will say they're adventurous, but when you talk about, from a cruise ship, getting into a Zodiac, a small boat, you take the Zodiac to the shore, then you climb off of that, and there's lots of walking, there's lots of climbing adventures. So again, qualifying those clients is very important.
Okay.
Same thing budget wise. Like some of the adventures, they're great adventures, but some of them aren't cheap. Of course, I mean, it's like going out to eat. You can go to the fast food places, or you can go to the high end steak place. Adventure travel is very much the same. So, by sea, a lot of especially the ships that get close in that allow you to get onto Antarctica, the Arctic, they're small ships, so they're not as large. So some people might be familiar with ocean cruising, which is very stable ships, very calm. Well, the smaller ships might be a little more choppy.
Yeah.
And there is a pass going from the southern end of South America to Antarctica that is very, very rough seas at times. So,
Yeah.
but
No
yeah,
worries.
so qualifying through us is basically you give us a call, tell us what you're thinking. We'll find the right vendor. We'll find the right time of year, with the proper budget. And we've got vendors in all classes, and we can go anywhere from, we've got some that are very niche solo travelers. So there's some of the smaller cruise ships that have a lot of solo cabins. So individuals that want to go by themselves, but with a like-minded group. So you're
Right.
never by yourself, but you're with a group of like-minded people.
Gotcha.
Or we can send a group out, take up half of the ship with a group of adventurers who want to go out all together.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. I was going to ask you to, especially with qualifying and just leaning on your travel agent to help you. One of the things that, as I'm thinking through this, like I think would be a little difficult is, I mean, I'm all for adventures because to me, adventure means experience.
Yeah.
If it's an adventure, then it's something you're going to remember. I love that kind of travel, but as I grow older, things get more complicated. So now I have a 8-year-old kid and I'm not going to say how old my mom is, but she's older. And so now I'm trying to coordinate travel for us together, but now we have like different levels of ability.
Yep.
What do you recommend for an adventure mindset that has to accommodate for all that?
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm gonna shift a little bit to adventure by land.
Okay. Perfect.
And a prime example of that would be if you ever wanted to go to Machu Picchu. A lot of people, that's on their bucket list, right? That's one of the 7 wonders of the world. So some of the vendors we have that take tours to Machu Picchu, there's different levels of activity. So There's some that the bus takes you to the bottom of the basically the mountain. You can hike up the mountain. There's also a road that goes up where they can take you virtually almost right to Machu Picchu. So if you're more of the adventurous type, you've got lots of accessibility. You could climb from the bottom to the top, and your mom could ride on the bus and go up to the top, meet you at the top, and then you can all see the splendor of Machu Picchu together. There's other adventures like Diamond Head in Hawaii, Diamond Head volcanoes, and right there's different levels of accessibility. There's more trails where you can actually take accessible vehicles. So if we had somebody with a scooter, somebody maybe even in a wheelchair, there's lots of different mobilities that allow, or different tools for mobilities that allow people to adventure without having the physical demands of that adventure. And this is one thing I'll mention about Patty. She's actually certified in abilities for travel. So she's taken some courses and some training on matching those abilities to the tours that people can do, as well as we have access to a lot of the cruise ports, and some people don't know, have accessibility right at the cruise port. So if you're going to go on an Alaska cruise, for example, which is an adventure, I mean, there's the shoreline portion that you see from the cruise line, but then there's also the wildlife parks inside, like Denali Park, which we can arrange. So if you're getting on a cruise ship from Seattle or Vancouver, we can arrange that scooter, that wheelchair, that walker. We can arrange for all that to be ready there for you. So when you go to get on the ship, your walker's there, your scooter's there. 10 years ago, we took our parents, my mom and Patty's mom and dad, we all went to Alaska, and we actually got a scooter for Patty's mom because she had some mobility issues. So we loaded that scooter. Every time we went on an adventure, we went on the Skagway train, which is the train that goes from the Yukon back into Alaska. And they accommodated the bus. We just took the handle off the scooter to make it compact. We loaded it under the bus. We offloaded it in the train car. The actual train car has a handicapped car, which has a lift in it. So she used her scooter, went up on the lift, rode the train back, offloaded when we got back to Skagway. She took the scooter back to the ship. At the ship, they help you load because the ramps are a little steep sometimes, so they assist with loading. So accessibility is very manageable as long as we know ahead of time. And again, back to that qualifying, what type of adventure are you looking for, and what are the mobility issues that you have? So
That's amazing.
Yeah. And there's so many things. I don't know if you've seen, but there's some of the areas, there's the beach. They almost have like a tricycle. It's almost a wheelchair that you can push, but it's got the big fat aired up tires that go across the sand so they don't dig in. There's those wheelchairs that are incredible for anybody with mobility issues. You know, kids that, you know, we have friends that have kids that are on the spectrum, or there's some that, you know, cerebral palsy where they can't walk, they can't be mobile, but there's aids out there that we can arrange at a lot of destinations to get them into the adventure that you want to be in.
That's incredible.
I was looking for, while you guys were talking, I was looking for a picture. I couldn't find it. I'll have to go dig it up. But my Yvonne's cousin's doctor up in Texarkana just got back from Africa last year. She climbed the big volcano there. You know, it's 10-day jaunt, right? Up and down and kind of a slow crawl. But I had a picture of her standing at the top, you know, of it saying, waving at everybody. But there you go. So that's the kind of fun stuff they can do. Yeah. Hey, you know what, Jordan, we're at the 30-minute break, and I'm going to let you introduce. We're getting ready to add a new segment. Terry, bear with us. You're getting to be the guinea pig on this, but we're getting ready to introduce a new segment on our show.
We got to do our cliffhanger, right? Like they do on the shows. Is like when we're back, we will talk about hiking and what you can do.
Perfect.
Yeah, so Jordan, we're calling this the Mansfield Buzz Mansfield Rewind, and what we're doing is we're going to take a short clip from past guest one and play it to let folks know they need to come in and check out some of our past guests. So this is Core 4 Contractors. We'll be right back.
So here's how.
Hang on, let me try because I think I did get it to work.
Okay.
Keep it tight. Highlights prime to ignite. Catch the vibe. Feel the rush. Previously on the Mansfield Buzz.
So here's how I got in with Brandon and working here. I was really good friends with his brother, but through high school, we kind of grew apart. I was doing little odd and end jobs, waiting tables, bartending and stuff like that. And another buddy of mine offered me a job in roofing. So I called Brandon and basically was like, hey, a buddy's offering me a job in roofing. Can you give me a little bit of details? You know, is this a good move for someone like me? And he said, well, why don't you come talk to me and we'll just have the discussion face to face. And so I did. And I've been here for almost a decade now. And
that's awesome.
There you go. So welcome to Mansfield Buzz Rewind. We'll be doing that every week and highlighting it. Terry, thanks for being patient, letting us roll through that. We just want more people to realize we got some really cool businesses on here that have interviewed with us. I mean, 72 guys. You need to go check them out. So back to the next adventure. Jordan, are you ready?
And as promised, now let's take on hiking. I mean, this is the mother lode of adventures because you could do so many things.
This is my favorite.
Absolutely. And budget wise, hiking is within almost everybody's budget. As long as you have a decent pair of walking shoes, you can go hiking. And it's incredible to see. We're so lucky in the US, not only in the US, but Texas. If you look at the adventures in Texas for hiking, not a lot that we do through Dreammaker Vacations because a lot of people just plan their own, I'm driving for the weekend and stuff, and we can help with the hotel side of things, maybe some ideas of where to go. But the incredible hiking activities that we have in Texas alone, and then you expand outside of Texas between, Colorado Rockies, you can go to Canada, to the Rocky Mountains in Canada. There is so many places to hike, and that's just in North America. And then back to what we were just talking about, Machu Picchu. Hiking from the base of the mountain up to the Machu Picchu. Just incredible. There's Diamond Head in Hawaii, all through Alaska. So we had some friends just recently come back. They booked a cruise with Patty to Alaska. They went to Alaska, and part of what they wanted to do was a lot of outside adventures. So they booked a hiking adventure to see bears. And they seen about 20 to 25 bears. There was some bears with cubs. And they were at the river, and they were picking salmon right out of the river and feeding the cubs right on the logs. And they were within 30 feet, and the bears were not concerned about them at all because people looking and observing, the bears are used to people being in the area, but the interaction is from a distance. There's never a close interaction, but seeing the bears pick out the salmon, feeding their cubs, incredible adventure. And then we can, of course, go into Asia, the Great Wall of China. There's a bit of a walk going down the Great Wall. Croatia has a lot of area. If you're a TV buff, Game of Thrones is filmed in Croatia. There's a lot of the and it maybe not so much hiking, but walking through the areas where they film that. We're actually, Patty and I are leaving next Wednesday. We're on a cruise out of Ravenna, Italy. And one of our stops is we got 3 Croatia stops, and it's going to be where they filmed the Game of Thrones. So incredible adventure. We're going to be there from the 10th. We leave on the 10th and we're back on the 23rd. So follow us on Facebook. We're going to be putting clips through. We're actually in Barcelona. We're talking about a little bit of adventure. We're staying in a castle in Barcelona.
Wow.
So accommodations.
That's terrible. So I'm going to solicit 4 buddies next spring to go do a low impact trail out in East Texas called the Lone Star Trail, which is a 2-day, it's a 20-mile a day deal. It's about a 3-day adventure, and it's a low impact trail. So if you just want to get out in the woods and get away from everybody, there's a 3-day gig. So you're right. Texas is loaded.
Yeah.
I mean, unbelievable amount and it's so different from one side of the state to the other that it's almost like you're in a different world, right? When you go from east to west and north to south. So it's pretty cool. That's awesome. I love hiking, man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that
The
is really
redwood, the other one that I liked when I was a kid was out in California when we got to walk the big ancient redwood, big trees. Unbelievable. I recommend that to anybody. It's
Isn't that where
amazing.
they filmed Star Wars?
You know, I'm not sure if they filmed Star Wars, but those trees, you talk about humbling you and making
Mhm.
you feel small.
I'm pretty sure that's Endor, is
Yeah,
the redwood
yeah,
forest.
pretty cool. Pretty cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Yeah. And leading into a little bit of adventure travel, you talked about some stuff going on for Halloween.
Yeah,
We actually do some paranormal travel. So that's on the adventurous side.
Oh,
Haunted
let's get
hotels.
let's
Um,
let's invite them into this show on Halloween dressed up, and they can brag about one of the paranormal deals that they can set up this year. That's pretty cool.
yeah. Yeah.
paranormal travel. That's awesome. So
Yeah.
haunted hotels.
Haunted hotels. Yeah. We've across the US, we've been to Peso Robles in California. There's a huge wine area. There's multiple hotels there that are very, very active. There's a lot of the old jails, insane asylums. You've seen a lot of them on TV on a
Yeah,
lot of the
yeah.
And by
paranormal.
active, you mean like a lot of spooky stuff goes on.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. We've actually been to some little haunted towns through the Montana mountains. Same thing with California. A lot of the old gold rush areas, a lot of the abandoned towns, Nevada, Arizona, New Orleans. We were in there's a place called the Myrtles Plantation in just outside of New Orleans, and we stayed there with a group last year, and we caught some video. We every time we stay at a paranormal, we try to catch as much video as we can. But on our way out, Patty always takes a clip in the room we're in with a business card, and she does a little spiel about Dreammaker Vacations, travel with us, and her phone started flipping from pictures to video. So I actually, as soon as that started happening, I turned my phone on and started recording over her shoulder. And you can see the
Wow.
phone switching from video to pictures all on its own. Her fingers are nowhere near any of the buttons, and you can just watch that screen flip back and forth.
No.
So paranormal and travel is incredible. New Orleans, very, very active place. When you think
You'll
about
have fun.
That's awesome. What's a cool experience? I mean, you just mentioned the phone one. Like, what's another experience you've had with your clients on one of those?
Well, we've heard noises, we've seen different things. We stayed again a couple years ago. We stayed back at Myrtle's Plantation with another group, and we had a video camera going for a while. And there's an area. There's one of the rooms that is said to have children that frequent the area.
Mhm.
So there was some toys in the closet. There was a ball, and Patty threw the ball across the hall into the room that we were staying in. And we were talking amongst ourselves. And when we came back, the ball was sitting on the threshold of the door. But the incredible part is the threshold was about a half an inch taller than the floor on either side. So that ball to come back and roll back in and then land on that threshold and sit on it was an incredible experience.
Wow.
Like, it was really bizarre. So
That's really cool.
yeah.
I like hiking.
You're not gonna go one of those with me, Hurdy?
No, I don't think so.
So back to the paranormal side on the active places, Queen Mary, the ship
I've been
Queen
there.
Mary
Yes.
is at Long Beach, right? And
Yeah,
it's got a
it's docked
long
right there.
history. Yeah, it's got a long history. And Patty and I have stayed at Queen Mary as well. And when you look at a lot of the activity that was happening, and during the war, it was turned into a wartime ship to transport people, and they crashed into another ship, and 300 people died. And they say most of those people got into the propeller area. But the activities that are on the Queen Mary are incredible. And you talk to the old captain and a lot of the old crew that were on that ship, they experienced a lot of different activities. So
That's weird.
Yeah.
We stayed at the Queen Mary, and my mom was, like the rooms. I mean, it's a ship, right? So the rooms are really small. It's worth noting too that the Queen Mary now is a hotel.
Yes.
They somehow bolted this ship onto the harbor, and now it's like a hotel that you walk into and check in. And I know my mom was sitting in her room, and I think she went to the bathroom, and then she heard my dad come in because we were like, getting ready to go somewhere, and he just came in, closed the door, and just sat on the bed. And he's like, "What do you like? What'd you forget?" And he didn't answer. He's like, "Do you hear me?" So she just opened the door and looked out there, and there's nobody in there. And she's kind of looking around. It's like, what is this? And for me, they do two tours there. One is like the ghost tour where they take you to the haunted places, and the other one is like a hokey ghost tour where they take you to a special effects thing where they like project ghost images and do like boo sounds. Like, it's really bad. So we were doing the real ghost tour, and the special effects things, they do it at the pool, and the pool is where it's supposed to be like one of the haunted places. So we're going through the tours like, hey, does anybody want to take a quick peek at the special effects show? Because that happens on the upper deck of the pool, because the pool is indoors. It's weird. It's like inside the ship. So people come in through the outside catwalk and then just kind of look at the special effects, and then there's some strobes and put some smoke. But when you're doing the ghost tour, you can go in through the lower tier, like at the pool level. Does like anybody go check it out? It's like, I'll go check it out. And it's like, okay, just go through this door. And he opens the door. And I didn't realize I was the only one that did that. So I go in there and I'm like, everybody's like, ooh, yeah, scary. And it's totally hokey. Like, it's so bad. And it ends. So I'm like, okay, people start walking out. So I turn around and try to open the door where they let me through, and it's locked. I'm like, uh-oh. Try to open it. It's locked. So I knock on the door expecting them to let me out, but they continue with the tour. I guess assuming that I was going to be able to walk out of there, but the door is locked. So I'm like, oh crap. All right. And there's this big empty pool in the middle of the place. And I don't know how to get out of there. And when people leave, they turn off the lights. You're inside of the ship, and this place goes pitch black. And I'm inside of this like empty pool. It's pitch black, and I'm like, oh crap. So I know there's a giant empty pool that is like 20 feet deep that I don't want to fall into. So I back myself up to the wall, and I just kind of like just slid to the side to see where I could just find either a door or a corner or something. So I just went to the side, and I found some stairs, and I just sat down on the stairs to wait for somebody to come in, and just hope to God I didn't feel anything in pitch blackness, because I'm just in the corner of this place, and there's like, I mean, it is pitch black. It is dead quiet, and I'm just waiting. And somebody finally opens the door. Is like, "Hey, are you still in here?" I'm like, "Yes." It's like, "Oh, sorry." So I get out, and when you come out, they have the pictures of all they've caught ghosts on pictures. Well, there's a picture of a girl that appears in there that goes down the stairs, and she's standing literally next to where I'm sitting, and that's where I was just chilling. And I'm like, oh my god, it just gives me chills to think back about it.
I'll pass on.
Right there.
I'll pass on those, but that's Jordan. That's crazy. I'd be panicked, man, if I got locked on a tour accidentally. So, so again, adventure like hiking, going to all these destinations. But what about adventures by air? Because I'm sure there's some ones now. When you talk about adventures by air, you're talking about the actual flight itself, or you're talking about going to air shows? You're talking about flying on airplanes? What?
A little bit of all of it, because there's the big wide body jets that you go when you're going to the adventure, but a great bit of adventure if you're into the thrills of things. There's the helicopter adventures through the Grand Canyon outside of Vegas. So, of course, they circle around Vegas so you can see the lights. But during the day, you can actually go to the Grand Canyon. They fly in and amongst the Grand Canyon. Alaska, there's a lot of planes. So there's the water float planes. But in the wintertime or in the ice, they've actually got planes with skis that can take you into the remote areas of Alaska as well, and you can do a bunch of
that'd be fun.
Alaska.
I'd enjoy that.
Yeah, and around the world. I mean, there's lots of different adventures with short flights, long flights, helicopters. There's planes. There's
paragliding. Is there where you can do, where you get up behind a boat and be pulled, or
parasailing,
parasailing, things like that. Cool.
Yeah, a lot of the Caribbean islands,
they
Spain,
do that. Yeah,
Italy. I was surprised when we were in Italy last. There's actually lots of parasailing in Italy.
Right.
It just, if there's a water and it can be a boat,
and you got to win or boat, just go. Yeah,
they can parasail.
That's cool.
The other adventures, not so much with that type of flying, but don't forget there's the skydiving adventures. There's a lot of great skydiving schools. I currently, at my other job away from Dreammaker, I actually work with 2 dive instructors, and they do tandem dives. So you can go to do tandem diving, so skydiving, tandem diving. In my late teens, I did some skydiving myself, which was incredible. And the 2 things that I tell everybody is weightlessness in the air or underwater, like we spoke earlier. Both is so peaceful. When you're coming down on your parachute and you're just riding the wind and you're controlling the direction you go because you can steer your chute, so peaceful, so quiet. And then same thing with underwater. And don't forget a lot of the New Zealand, Australia, there's a lot of bungee jumping. So if you're an adventurist and you want to free fall,
no.
The bungee jumping is there.
No.
We talked
Isn't it
about
weird that you could jump like out of like thousands of feet and that's okay, but you get to hundreds of feet.
Because there's nothing relative around you to mess you up. You're jumping off a freaking bridge, Jordan, and you're looking down into a canyon, okay? And you're held by a freaking rubber band.
Yeah.
Everything you said is accurate.
Yeah. And then don't forget all the zip lining. Right?
Yeah.
Now, zip lines would be fun.
Yeah, there's some long zip lines in Branson. We came across a bunch of long zip lines. If you want to try the adventure, you happen to be in Vegas, Fremont Street, there's a zip line that goes from one side of the Fremont Street to the other. So you can actually zip line right through Fremont Street with all the lights and all the activities.
That's cool.
Yeah.
You know what I'm waiting for? I'm waiting for the city of Mansfield, Texas. I'm just going to put it out there, to put in the same things they put at ski resorts. So you could have go from one area to another on a ski lift, and just ride over everything, which would be really cool to go to different quadrants of the town. But whatever.
Actually, they did that.
I'm just throwing that out there. I'm sorry.
They did that in Mexico City. I was really surprised. So this little like gondolas going around. I'm like, what is this?
And Roderick says, keep your feet on the ground. Okay. I agree.
But talking about zip lines, what which you're probably familiar with, I got to do was zip lining the cloud forest in Costa Rica.
And the Costa Rican, I mean the rainforest there with all the adventures in Costa Rica. We actually have we've got some friends that live in Costa Rica, and they've connected us with a lady who's got a hotel there. 10 rooms. We can actually rent the whole resort. So if you have a family reunion, if you have some sort of if you want almost anything you want to do in Costa Rica, you can, with your family or a bunch of friends, you can rent the 10-room resort. You can bring in a chef. He can cook all the meals for you. It's close to town. Shopping isn't far away. So you can do the adventurous cooking yourself, or you can bring somebody in to cook for you. Yoga retreats. Anybody who wants to go on a yoga retreat. What better is Costa Rica? Nice and quiet. You have the resort to yourself. It has a little pool. It has an outdoor cooking area. So that's not as adventurous, but once you get off of the small hotel resort, you can do that, right? So
I don't know. I mean, I guess if Herdy and I were to go do a yoga retreat, that would constitute an adventure.
Yeah.
Downward dog could be very adventurous, eh?
Yeah, Yvonne takes me through yoga, and there is some tough. It's tough for my age, but it'd be fun. Now, speaking of that, I guess we didn't cover that, and that just brought up something interesting because you kind of mentioned it. Adventure groups.
Yep. Yeah, so we actually do quite a bit of groups. We lead a bunch of the groups ourselves. So
Awesome.
we've had adventure groups. We've had groups up to Alaska, Italy, French Polynesia, Hawaii. So we do lead a bunch of groups. We can arrange group travel with a vendor. So somebody from the area can take you on a group adventure. Again, everybody has a different idea of adventures, but what about a Scotch tasting adventure in Scotland, a whiskey tasting adventure in Ireland,
Or a golf, or a golf adventure.
golf
You
and
know,
Scotch.
Sounds even better.
golf adventure.
Probably
Yeah,
improved my golf game, to be honest.
golf
Yeah.
adventure.
Yeah. So, and we have vendors in Scotland and Ireland that do
I would
very,
love
very
that.
tailored trips.
That is
So,
one of my bucket lists to go play
yeah,
golf in Scotland.
you
And I
pick
will
where
you want to
get a hold of
go.
you guys.
Yeah.
And the
You pick-
Scottish people are wonderful. They're so nice.
Yeah.
Now, pro tip: if you go to Scotland, tell them you're from Texas. They love it.
There you go. There
I'm
you
from
go.
Texas.
They always comment is like, it's interesting. Every time we get people from America, they say they're from America, unless they're from Texas. Then they're from
Oh.
Texas.
And you got to
Yeah.
say it with Texas accent. I'm from Texas.
Yeah, we got some friends in Ireland that one of the things they call it a lock-in. So there's some Irish pubs that if you stay past closing time, they lock the door and say, "We'll see you in the morning. Everybody turn off the lights when you're done," and they'll lock you into the pub. How much more of an adventure is being locked in a pub in Ireland
Yeah,
and left
kinda
to
like-
your own devices?
Must do
Kinda
your
like a-
duty.
kind of like a pub crawl that never ends.
That's right. It's a Groundhog Day pub crawl.
Yikes.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So
I wish
let's
I was
let's
younger.
touch up on. We're coming up to time, and I want to make sure we touch up all the other ones that maybe
Yeah.
aren't like precisely broken down to sea lane, hiking, and air. What got me thinking about that was, for example, you said the yoga to retreat. There's like some like adventures that are a little bit more themed.
Yes. So, I mean, when we talk about land adventures, the African safaris. So, flying into South Africa, you can go onto a safari. You can stay in the tents on the safari land where the armed guards are outside, making sure you don't get eaten by the tigers. But there's some great hotels. There's a giraffe hotel that the giraffes poke their heads into your room at night or during the day as well, where you can feed the giraffe. So there's those safaris. There's if you wanted to go to Egypt, getting onto a camel, riding a camel out to the pyramids. Great adventure. Last summer we were in Jordan, and so we started out in the northern part of Jordan, and we finished at the Red Sea. There's the Dead Sea in the middle, and Jordan is a very, very safe place. It's a very cultural place. There's lots of religious history, incredible people, incredible food, friendliest people you'll ever meet. We
Wow.
spent 10 days. We went on a Jeep adventure through the desert, through the red deserts. Just incredible adventures. There's lots of different. There's the Asian adventures, right? Like I mentioned about the Great Wall. So if that's one of your bucket lists, one of the 7 wonders of the world to walk the Great Wall, lots of great diving in the Philippines, Indonesia, lots of incredible diving. There's the volcanoes in Japan. Incredible. There's just so many things to do. And then again, to French Polynesia, we spent a few days in Tahiti before we took a group on a cruise ship that went from the French Polynesian Islands to Hawaii. And we were in Bora Bora. Bora Bora for the day. We rented a pontoon boat, and all we did was we trolled around the island of Bora Bora. And if anybody knows how big the island of Bora Bora is, it's not very big. About 4 hours, you can go in a pontoon boat all the way around the island.
Wow.
Waters are shallow. The reef is not far off the shore. In most areas. There's lots of great diving. We did some snorkeling. We did some scuba diving. Just the manta rays, the sharks, the fish, everything that you can see. There's some areas. We actually have a picture of one of our group members. It was fairly shallow, and the boat kind of stopped up on a little bit of a sandbar. We've got a picture with him with the chain of the boat pulling it in the water.
That's got to be cool.
He didn't actually have to pull it off the sandbar, but it was a funny picture. So we made sure we got that picture. So
that's awesome. Another one I wanted to ask you about, as you mentioned an island, I was thinking was Puerto Rico, because that's one that you can have a international travel kind of experience without actually leaving the U.S. Well, in this case, U.S. territory, but
yeah,
you don't need a passport.
Exactly. You don't need a passport. It is a U.S. territory. And there's, again, the old fort there is incredible. Walking up and through the old fort, Puerto Rico is just amazing. Old Town Puerto Rico, the food, the small little bars that you walk into. There's a boat, or there's a bus tour you can take while you're in Puerto Rico as well. We went to the Bacardi factory, which you can see where they make the rum. They have a tasting area. You get a token, which looks like an old Spanish coin, as their tokens for drinks. So when you're on your tour, they actually give you a couple tokens, and that's how you pay for your drinks there. There's a few other distilleries in Puerto Rico as well that aren't as well known, but very interesting to go through.
I bet.
Yeah, and U.S. dollars, no currency exchange, no passport. It's a U.S. colony, and there's a lot of history there with a lot of the presidents. They've got statues of a lot of the presidents down. I think they actually call it Presidential Lane, where there's a lot of the president statues there.
That's awesome.
So yeah, and Alaska is another one that is part of the U.S. There's no exchange. You can go there by land. You can go there by sea. You can actually, there's multiple ways by sea you can get there from Seattle. So
yeah.
And through us, I mean, back to qualifying clients. What do you want to do? Where do you want to go? And how do you want to get there? Mm-hmm. We've got links and we've got contacts. We've spent a long time with our travels. I mean, remember, one of our hashtags is use a travel agent that travels.
That's right.
You can call the big box stores. You might get somebody who's an order taker. All they do is they go through the catalog they have, and they'll sell you whatever product you're looking for through the catalog. We've been to a lot of the places. We know we have locals in a lot of the places. So we tag our clients up with locals. We've got a good friend of ours. He goes by Peanut. He's in St. Thomas. He runs an open air bus. Peanut's a great friend of ours. We've been to St. Thomas multiple times. We've developed a friendship. We actually had a couple of ladies on a cruise ship where their cruise ship excursion on shore was canceled. So they messaged Patty because they had WhatsApp. They didn't have phones, but they had WhatsApp, and they just said, "Hey, we just got notice that our tour is canceled. Is there anything we can do in St. Thomas?" So Patty got on the phone, messaged Peanut, and said, "Hey, are you available tomorrow? We've got a couple of ladies getting off." It was one of the cruise lines. And he said, "Yeah, no problem. I'll be at the cruise port. I'll have a sign with their name on it. All they need to do is come out, ask anybody when they get to shore, ask anybody for Peanut. Everybody knows Peanut at St. Thomas." So they made their way off the ship. He was there with a great big sign, took him onto his truck or his open air bus. First thing he does is he mixes drinks. He calls it peanut juice.
Peanut juice.
And it's a peanut vodka, I think. But it's a very good drink. It's an adult beverage. And that's what Peanut does. So he's got beer in his cooler. So when you're on an adventure with Peanut, he takes care of you, gets you back to the cruise ship. And he looked after those ladies without he being paid for it. He just said, "Next time you guys are here, you'll catch up with me." 6 months later, when we were there, we went on another trip with him because we always tag up with him when we're there. And we just paid him for the excursion for the ladies 6 months earlier. And great contacts. We've got contacts like that everywhere. There's a gentleman that actually follows the cruise ships through Italy and Greece, and he sells excursions, and we've made friends with him as well. So we've directed people, when you get off the ship, you're going to see this guy, and he's going to go by this name. And we've actually WhatsApped them and said, hey, we've got some clients coming in. Can you take care of them? Same thing, meets the clients off the ship. Where do you guys want to go today? What excursion do you want? He takes care of them, looks after them, gets them there safely, gets them back safely. That's the network we've built over the years. We've been doing this for going on 20 years now. Patty's been doing it a lot longer. I'm an associate of hers. But I mean, we've built so many bonds with people over the years that we try to do that personalized service with everybody. We don't have anybody in Asia. We haven't been there yet, but we've got so many contacts that doesn't matter where you travel with us. We'll make sure you're connected to the right people.
So Jordan, there's the advantage of working with a travel agency, and you'll notice I put the website down there, dreammaker.vacations. I highly recommend, if you're thinking about an adventure tour or any vacation or any travel, that you talk to these folks, because it may seem convenient to go online and just choose something and pay it, but if there's any complications, which there usually is some slight complications, you want to make sure you have somebody to contact. So yeah.
Not to mention what you do after you get there, right? Like we
Yeah.
tend to forget that
I
you're
mean,
there.
to know people and destinations and give people kind of that extra little kick to get into the culture of an area, you know, is kind of a nice payoff without getting off something and feeling lost. Like, well, let's just go figure it out. Actually have somebody, you know, that you can call on and say, help these folks when they get there. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
A worldwide network. I can't even claim that, Jordan. That's pretty good. So
Yep.
Yeah, we're not worldwide, but we're trying to get there.
Well, you know what I mean. I mean, you've
Yeah.
got contacts on a lot of the destinations you go to. So again, the importance of hiring a travel agent has been the whole part of what we've done on this series on the Mansfield Buzz, and we still have 6 more to go where we're going to dive into some more different travel. So, Jordan, any final thoughts? Terry, any final thoughts?
Give us a call for all your adventures. We're here and we're waiting for you to make your dream vacations come true.
Perfect.
Perfectly said.
All right, guys. Well, thank you for being part of Mansfield Buzz. Of course, Jordan and myself will be back next Thursday at 2 p.m. live on YouTube. Terry, thank you so much for jumping on here with us this week. That was awesome that you did that. We really appreciate that. Sometimes we have to do stuff on the fly. You did fantastic, by the way.
You're a natural.
Just so you know. Just so you know. But if you'll hang with us a few minutes when we don't go live, we want to make sure your recording's being uploaded to our server. So sit tight with this, guys. Thanks for being on Mansfield Buzz. We'll see you next Thursday at 2 o'clock. Y'all have a good day.
Have a great day, everyone.
Bye, y'all.